episode 6.
Sadist.
Seis.
What?
6.
What?
In Spanish? It's 6.
Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis.
Yes.
You had to make me say the numbers.
Marco? No. Marco should do the Spanish version today. Since he's Enrique Iglesias.
Enrique.
Make sure, hey, listen, make sure one of those things don't pop up.
Keep going, Marco. Uno, dos, tres, what? Cuatro. Cinco. Seis. Seis.
All right, guys. Welcome to the Four Horsemen of Sales.
Yes.
I am Yanni Kifle.
Alo Mengesha, AGM.
Malcolm Kifle. Claudio.
Yes, guys. And again, episode 6. Last episode, we were discussing the traditional selling methods versus social selling. So we're going to continue with that conversation. And again, we want to make sure we're clear. I know, again, some people feel more comfortable selling one way versus the other. And it's very important, I think, ultimately, for you to be at your best. Ultimately, you have to have both in your arsenal. I know Claudia feels strong about that. 100%. Yeah.
100%.
Mark, what club are you going to after this? Just curious. What club? Huh? What club are you getting ready?
Well, we should ask Yanni what gym is he going to. Always ready. Always ready.
What are you doing?
There it is. What restaurant are you going to after?
No, time out. Yeah, tell them what the shirt means. And
Hey,
the
listen,
meaning
listen,
behind
let's
it.
not
I
even
actually
worry
like that
about
shirt.
the
It
shirt.
says,
Can we go back into social selling, please? Let's go. Let's go.
Oh,
talk
okay.
into it.
Well, but I like the shirt.
I'm sorry.
All right, so
Let's get back to the gym, guys. Give them
last
a
episode
round
was
of
the top 3 traditional selling methods process. This episode we're going to do the top 3 social selling methods and process. Okay, and so let's start out. Number 1 was the quote. Oh my goodness!
Come on, Mr. Q.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
But it's okay because it goes right in line. I mean, almost identical to what we're about to talk
So
about.
today's quote, in-house quote for the episode.
Mr. Q. So hey, co-founder of LinkedIn, Reid Hoffman, right? Put it best to what our topic is.
Are you on LinkedIn? Are you on LinkedIn?
I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on every platform except TikTok.
Damn, why are you just calling everybody?
I've never seen Malcolm on LinkedIn.
I've never seen Yanni on LinkedIn. Have you seen Yanni on LinkedIn?
Wow.
Get
Let's
the
go to
quote
the
in,
quote.
man.
My gosh.
The brothers
Shots
at it.
fired.
Help the people in your network
Y'all don't look like y'all helping each other right now.
and let them help you.
What is it?
There it is.
Say it again.
Help the people in your network and let them help you. And again, that was co-founder Reid Hoffman of LinkedIn.
Perfect.
I love it.
Perfect.
That is exactly what social selling is. You know, it is creating relationships and building, I think, ultimately, with your sphere or with your platform to have them, in essence, help you. And I think the first, top technique in that is referral-based. You know, referral-based. And when I think about, I always think about like traditional versus the social selling is transactional, traditional versus relationship-based. And that's what, in essence, referral-based is. Using your past client, your current clients, to bring on more clients and asking for the referrals. In our business, that's huge in terms of real estate. You know, ultimately, with referrals, that's the name of the game. And having a referral and is somebody that you can sit down with that ultimately is not somebody that's a cold call or somebody that you don't know as a stranger. It's somebody that already knows of you, knows your brand, comes in there with a level of trust already. So it's an easier sell. Like you're not having to go through the other process of trying to like prove yourself in this and that.
There's already credibility.
There's always credibility.
You know it right in there.
Yeah,
absolutely.
There's always credibility. So referral based. So making sure that whatever business you're in, if you've sold somebody, if you've sold some whether it be a service or actual product, those in turn are people that you can reach out to and continue to keep relationships with, so that they can refer you to other people. You know, we used to call it, we have the mirror dialogue, where we call somebody and just say, I mean, pretty much on a quarterly basis, hey, listen, obviously, I'm in real estate, and we have a goal of selling this much this year or helping this many people this year. Who do you know that may need our services or product right now or in the future? Yeah. It's very important, that you like we were talking about this earlier, you have to ask for the referral, and most people don't. Just
Being
because you have a
intentional.
client, being intentional in that. So referral based, how would that work in all the industries you've been in?
Yeah, so with the referral base when it comes to B2B as well, a lot of the times, depending on if it's a product or service industry that you're calling on, they go to individual conferences and different things to meet to make themselves better. Their company may send them, and so they're meeting with their peers as
They
well,
talk,
and they're talking, or
Yeah.
they may have the same issues. And guess what? That's something where if you made that relationship and you had a good relationship with that person, they're able to basically speak on your behalf and give you referrals. And it's a much easier, it's more of a warm lead and easier for you to continue your process of selling, but without having to do all the hard work in the beginning of getting there.
And
So-
it's because they have you in mind.
Mhm.
You know, like I'm pretty sure if that never happens or that call never happens, like they know you do real estate, but there's nothing reminding them of, hey, they need to reach out.
Exactly,
They
that.
need their friends to reach out to such and such. So
So you have to train them in that sense as well. Like you have to say it so much that they know. Okay, you know what? Like if somebody talks about this or that, like this is the person I have to refer them to.
yeah, and they're
Correct.
thinking about no one else.
That's the goal. Anything you guys want to add? Referrals?
Yeah, I think some of the things about referrals too is like it's important after a business is closed is to have the immediate impact as far as requesting for those referrals, like surveys. I think that's something that we do too. Is like, hey, we conduct surveys and what is the best thing that you got out of this? What is an area of opportunity?
Oh.
And also, hey, is there someone that you would recommend for us?
When
to
is that?
help?
After you guys sold?
Right after the sale.
Okay.
So when
yeah.
you say
So-
survey, like what kind of survey? Like, are you just doing it?
Well,
Like
you
the- like
personally-
an email?
survey.
Email or-
Email. We do email blasts, SMS, right? So on and so forth. So that is a great way to immediately get their feedback because the sale's already done, right? So now they can sort of have their hands down. They're more open. If there was something that they didn't want to tell you before, they'll tell you now. And then not to mention the more referrals that they give you, that's how much you know how much they trust what you did or what you provided them. And it's just any business, right? Any business for that matter.
Yeah, that's to sold customers and unsold customers.
For sure.
Right, so we have
Sure.
there's a different survey. We call it an exit survey that a non-buyer goes through, because at the end of the day, if they've seen your product one time, then it's no longer cold, right? And now you can kind of leverage the information that they already have.
Right.
And most of these people, after seeing something once, it's usually just a timing thing,
Correct.
right? It's just some in some period of time you're gonna earn your business.
Correct.
And
Yeah.
how well you follow up,
Correct.
or how well you that's a whole different conversation
that's-
with following up, right? But
Yeah.
but you could leverage referrals that way.
Yeah.
Well.
So we in terms of real estate, every time we close somebody at the closing table, we're thanking them. Hey, thank you so much for the opportunity to help you, and we're right there. Is there anybody else that that may need our services? And we do that there too. But we do that at when we sit down for a buyer consultation as well. That list, there's a questionnaire, and at the bottom is like, is there anybody that you think this consultation might be a benefit to? That's important. And I think Grant in his book, I forgot which book, I'm happy here, but he talks about how you shouldn't wait until they close to ask for a referral, because they may not close.
Yeah.
So you should ask for that, like at the beginning or at that process as well, because ultimately you may not close that person, so you should still
Even
ask.
if you don't close them, to Malcolm's point, you can still ask for referrals.
That's what I'm saying.
Big time.
That's exactly what the point is. So referrals is important, and ultimately you have to ask for it. You have to be trained. But moving from transactional to relationship building, right? So like you don't want to go from business like transaction to transaction. All the transactions that you've done already, you want to use that as leverage to create more transactions. So referral based, always be, always asking for referrals. Always asking for referrals during the process, after the process closes, all that. So that's number one. Number two is creating value and building relationships through social media. And I know like a lot of people, so now and when somebody says social selling, we were talking about this in our arguing, but like it's people automatically think it's just social media, and that has a lot to do with it.
It's an easy way to try to associate social selling with social media.
Those mediums, yeah.
Because you're doing it a different way than the traditional way of doing business.
Yeah.
But with social selling too, just to piggyback off what you're saying, when you say social media, now that we're bringing it up, those are just tools. tools that you can use. That's another way to stay relevant and have an impact and bring value, and talk about the outcomes you're able to achieve, which leads to referrals and everything else. So the tools there with social media is big now, and you can't be afraid to use those tools such as like LinkedIn and Twitter and different things like that to get a hold of your
Because the point of social selling is to build a relationship.
Yeah.
Right. It's that long term.
Creating brand relationship. Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
You're trying to you're planting seeds and you're watering them along the way, because that is going to create business eventually. So that's that's one of the biggest.
Yeah, so like with social media has revolutionized business because it in essence helps you to create more relationships than you could initially just handle yourself.
Correct.
Like in like I said, in my example and whatnot, when I started social media, it was in essence I wasn't trying to sell somebody when I'm in social media. I was trying to become a brand. I was trying to build that brand that when somebody sees me on social media, they think ultimately of real estate. When they think of real estate, they think of me. And so how you do that is through various things. You're creating value. So through, the content that people will value. So like what we do now is we do these weekly, tip video. That basically you're giving value to somebody.
Yeah.
You're giving value that they see that, oh man, he knows what he's talking about, or they're creating value. They're giving me information that this is pretty interesting. We have these community focused type of informational posts, that necessarily may not be just specific real estate related, but that is community related, that they know or they associate us with the community. As long as I can remember, I sent out happy birthday videos on social media, and it's kind of progressed over time, but like it's a way to, like, some of these people I have no idea, like I don't have a specific relationship with, but online, I've sent these messages every year for the past 6-7 years. Like there's a relationship, and that's kind of how, and ultimately it's indirect, but it's me sending it, but ultimately they know it's from the company as well. So creating value and building relationships through social media I think it is invaluable. Like you have to take advantage of it. It's and not being that person that, I think with social media, not selling things, you're creating relationships with people. Yeah. I think we've seen that with different types of other companies.
What do you think of companies that don't see the value of being on social media, or leveraging that platform?
I think like we talked about, you can specifically sell traditionally and make a good living. Like you can do that and do that. You can only do social selling and make a good living. It is when you put it together ultimately where you blow up. I think.
That separation.
Like the separation, I think you become.
That's when you become the brand, and you become the go-to person automatically.
Yeah.
Whatever the problem is, that's what you want to be, that resource with the social selling.
Yeah.
So they want to know that they can depend on you no matter what, not just when you just sold them that one time. You know what I mean? And that's the relationship. That's what happens with relationships. That accountability that you're able to.
Yeah, that's why I don't understand how any company is not willing to be on that platform. So I'll give you an example where it's been said, why would somebody do people that buy jets, right? Are they on social media? So you've got jet companies that's saying, well, our consumers are not on social media, until somebody that has a heavy presence on social media. Who's the people buying jets? Obviously, the ones that are independently wealthy, right? But it amazes me that your people are missing that boat. Like the reason social media is so lucrative today, or revolutionized what it's done, is because there's more people that are on social media there's more consumers of social media or taking that type of information in than there are people consuming TV. They're not there anymore. you know, the TV marketing was more traditional, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like QVC and everything like that. But I'm saying that to say, hey, I mean, to your point, to our point, you know, that's our second tip. It's extremely important. You know, you have to be on social media some way or some shape or form to leverage that audience, because there's a lot of people on there.
It's the easiest. I mean, it's the
it's
easiest type of. Yeah, well, in a way. I mean, there's obviously things you can do.
Yeah.
But like, it's the easiest way. And I guess, I mean, ultimately, like, you know, you mentioned jets and whatnot. I mean, yeah, like, you got to look at. I guess you got to do your research and whatnot of who's.
Yeah, you got to know who you're wanting to reach.
Yeah, but it's yeah. I just feel like there's just so many people on social media that you have. It's an easy platform to make sure that you're not. That's a stone that you can't leave unturned.
Yeah, it's, what do they call it? Low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's there. Even if you don't acquire a lot of clients there, I mean, part of social media, part of the value of social media, I think, is attention. Right. I think, Clyde, what did you coin on our last episode?
The confidence.
Confidence is what? Currency.
Confidence is currency.
Gary V.
Shirt coming
says,
soon.
Yeah, hey, Clyde. You got to patent that. Gary V says, hey, what do you call it? Attention is the new currency, right? The person that gets the most amount of attention is the person that probably, you know, ends up being the most amount of successful. So
that's true. So referral based, in essence, of those things that you to do to create referrals.
Yes.
Creating value relationships through social media.
Yes.
And the third one is, again, company appreciation events.
Company sponsored.
Some company sponsored events.
Right.
And
Or events in general.
events. Well, no, events in the sense of you yourself creating events to bolster and strengthen the relationships that you have with your sphere. And like I said, I know I can speak highly with this and whatnot, but this is like the fun part.
Yeah.
I think these are ways that you can, in essence, get in touch, get to face with your past clients and your current clients, and being face to face, and ultimately creating opportunities to be in front of your clients outside of the sales cycle, will ultimately is what strengthens relationships.
or be introduced to new clients.
Well, exactly.
That's
so like
That's huge.
that's huge.
Yeah,
Like, it's been,
absolutely.
like, you know, like I said, with like
When you can get out of the element.
yeah, exactly.
Of just business.
Yeah.
Of business,
Yeah, yeah.
just that
Social setting.
Exactly. So we have, again, we do, we do these client appreciation events every year, and it's
Which, by the way,
amazing,
are amazing.
amazing. So like it's amazing in the sense of because you're giving back to the clients, you're giving back to the customers in a no pressure, fun filled, just atmosphere where it's fun. Like there's no mention even of like you're not talking business. You're just having fun. Hey, how's everything going? How's the family? This and that. Like you're not talking, and that's what really creates relationships. We give away tickets to Wizards games and prizes and things of that sort. You're finding ways to create relationships with these people that ultimately were clients now are becoming friends in essence.
And that's why networking events are so popular. Right?
Yes.
I mean, if you can navigate your relationships, if you can leverage your relationships, if you can create new relationships, I mean, at the end of the day, they don't just see you as, to your point, Yanni, hey, the real estate guy, but hey, this is now a close friend of the family.
Yeah.
Right? And when you can do that, then I think that's where you create some separation. And because there's so many people that's doing the same thing you're doing. At the end of the day, you got it. The biggest brand that's there is you.
Yeah.
Right? And so social setting is one of the best ways to do that.
Yeah. Alam, I think you mentioned you had some.
Yeah. I mean, what? No, I didn't forget.
No, you mentioned that. I wanted to make sure.
No, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
What is?
So not only does those events do that, I remember a company I used to work for. or when we used to hold events, right?
Is that what I'm thinking of?
Yeah, you already know. So, hey, we used to travel a lot, right? So when we were traveling and hosting all these events, it was cool. We used to actually call individuals, like let's say you had a company, right? So we would know who your competitors are. We would know who you associate with, who you rub your elbows with, and we would invite them to these events, right? So now we're creating a relationship right then and there.
You're calling their competitors?
Yeah, for sure. Because I'm a vendor myself, right? Rather he does business with me, and let's say you guys are competitors.
Yeah.
If you do business with me,
then he's gonna want.
Yeah, he's gonna want more. Or he's
Yeah.
gonna want to do this or whatever. So I remember we used to call all these people, and we used to get them all in a room essentially. And they're now they know each other, they know of each other.
Oh, together they're putting.
Yeah, because we're all in one
yeah.
big event, like one big venue. And so, while he has some guy that's working for him, and he's over here boasting about how this person is helping him do this and helping him become, his numbers are getting better, his attendance is this, all that stuff. He's listening and thinking to himself.
What are you laughing at?
No, but
No.
so anyway, so events like that create relationships, and then from there you kind of water that seed, right, that you just planted, and then boom.
I thought you were talking about those big parties that you guys used
Yeah,
to
the
do.
big parties that we did
man.
too.
There's nothing wrong with having a good
Big
party.
big parties, man, were big. I mean, we were
Like how big?
we're talking.
Huge. They had what was the people? The dancers?
Oh,
The-
what were they called?
The one that Shaq did? The Shaq,
Oh my god.
The
Was
one
it
that-
break dancers?
The
Yeah,
breakdancers.
the breakdancers.
When they first job walkers.
Job walkers, yeah.
Yeah, we had we had.
Well, did you try out for us? I didn't make it.
They said thanks but no thanks.
It was my ACL.
ACL.
My ACL. Man.
Yeah, man. Took him out of commission.
No, I mean,
But no, hosting events in
Yes.
general, I think it's a great atmosphere because it's really creating that, like you guys said, the fun atmosphere, but at the same time, business can be conducted too. So.
you got to find a way to create a family atmosphere. Like your clients, your past clients, current clients should know that when they buy from you, they become part of the family.
Yeah.
And you're gonna set the expectation that you'll be reaching out to them.
Yeah.
That you'll be inviting them to these events. That you'll be thanking them via different gifts. I forgot to talk about like the referral based. When somebody sends a referral, we give them a thank you card with like a gift card and things like that. But it's got to be I think creating a family atmosphere, and I think that's what the difference is with traditional and social. I think you're moving from transactional to relationship type of stuff.
100%. And you know, right in the head. If it's family, you're going to treat them differently.
Yeah.
And that's the whole process with the social selling, which you mentioned already, with reaching out. You letting them know that you're going to reach out is huge, and it's not going to be a consistent basis, and that's.
Yeah. So that's very important to know. I think ultimately, like I said, we want whatever your personality is, you're either going to be like, you're going to gravitate sometimes towards more traditional versus social, right? Which is okay. Like I said, like in my industry, I think in any industry, there's people they're more empty to one side or the other that are doing well. I think, but if you can incorporate both sides of it, is where I think it's a game changer.
That's it.
So, but we want, like I said, I think these are some of the things. There's a top three again, referral-based type of methods of asking for the referrals and how you go about that, creating value and building relationships through the social media aspect, and and company-based events, sponsored events, and creating those events where you have the opportunity to interact with clients and on a non-selling type of atmosphere.
For sure.
So, like I said, we want to hear your feedback as well, things that you think that are methods that can work in whether it be social or traditional. But I think for the next episode we'll be talking about more topics that will help you in that sense of your type of industry or in life in general. But make sure, like I said, we're on all platforms. Make sure we air every Tuesday at 11 a.m. on all platforms. Subscribe, write us a review. We want to hear from you as well. Again, the website will be up. And speaking on other great things coming up, we're going to be having training sessions and whatnot about these items and more things in live training sessions online and whatnot.
Go in more detail.
More in detail, yeah. You know, like I said, we want to make sure it's compact, this podcast, because we want to make sure you're listening. I know attention span is huge, so we want to fit as much as we can. But for those that really want more details and whatnot, we'll be having those platforms as well. So again, 4 Horsemen of Sales, again, season 1, episode 6. I'm sorry. Till next time, 4 Horsemen signing out, guys.
Sign out.